Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I am going to be reviewing my very first book on my channel, and I got this book a couple of weeks ago and I really enjoyed it. So the book is Death Prefers Blondes by Caleb Roehrig. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Sorry if I didn't. And this review will have spoilers, but I am going to read the synopsis for you anyway, for those of who may have not read the book yet or may have forgotten. Teenage socialite Margot Manning leads a dangerous double life. By day, she dodges the paparazzi while soaking up California sunshine. By night, however, she dodges security guards and armed guards, pulling off high-stakes cat burglaries with a team of flamboyant young men. In and out of disguise, she's in all the headlines. But then Margot's personal life takes a sudden dark turn, and a job to end all jobs lands her crew in deadly peril. Overnight, everything she's ever counted on is put at risk. Backs against the wall, the resourceful thieves must draw on their special skills to survive. But can one rebel heiress and 4 kickboxing drag queens withstand the slings and arrows of truly outrageous fortune? Or will a mounting sea of troubles end them for good? That's the book. I thought it was very fun, very interesting, definitely a fun ride. So I'm gonna go down about everything that I liked about the book. So, 2 words, drag queens. Drag queens, drag queens, drag queens. I love drag queens. Huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, so it was definitely fun and exciting to see 2 of my favorite things, drag queens and heist, put together in one book. I thought that was different, innovative, and fun. The main drag queens, Lisa Von Tramp, Anita Stiff One, Electra Shocks, and Dior Galore. Fun, interesting, definitely what you would see real drag queens actually having. I think that would be their real names. Another thing that I really loved about the book is the diversity of it. Every character had something different about them, whether they were a different ethnicity, Cuban, white, black, Spanish, Asian, everything. I love that Caleb, the author, touched on different diversities and different backgrounds. I like that not everyone in this book is rich, not everyone in this book is poor. I liked how it kind of touched on everybody's different social standings. And also, you know, having money doesn't mean that you don't have problems. Like with Margot and her dad getting sick and passing away, Valentina's dad shopping in the black market. Like, nobody's really innocent. So it's whatever's happening to poor people can also happen to rich people and vice versa, just different ways to go about it. I thought the fight scenes were fun. I think Caleb really detailed the fight scenes so much so it was almost written like a screenplay. Like, I can kind of visualize these actors doing the double backflips, somersaults, like the way he wrote it down. Thought it was fantastic. Really kind of captured the essence of the fight scene, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more fight scenes because it kind of got my heart racing because I was like trying to rush through it and get through it because it's like a movie. It's like you're on the edge of your seat. So I thought that was a lot of fun. I really love the details of Los Angeles. He wrote about Los Angeles, Pasadena, Burbank, Van Nuys. Those are all the places that I actually frequent. Used to live in Van Nuys, work in Pasadena, live in Burbank. So these streets and locations and areas, it was easy for me to visualize it because I see it every day. I'm on Victory Boulevard. I see the big bridge in Pasadena that he was talking about. I see that on my way to work every single day. So I thought that was fun and relatable, especially for the people who live in Los Angeles. I also thought when she went to Italy, fantastic description. It almost made me feel like I was there. I've never been to Italy, but the way that he described it made it seem exactly like what it would be like, with the canals and the small walkways and the cobblestone streets. It definitely painted a picture for me, and I almost wish that Margot was there a little bit longer so I can really get the essence of it. I thought she was there for a very short while. They could have touched on that a little bit more. Also, the artwork in the first heist was actually very detailed. I wonder if these are actual, I'm sure they're actual artworks. At least that's how good he was describing it. It seemed like he was describing the Mona Lisa. So I thought he did a fantastic job of doing that and really putting that on paper and relaying that. So I'm going to go down the list of the things that I did not like about the book. And it could just be me nitpicking. If I'm nitpicking, just let me know in the comments if I'm being too hard on Caleb. Sorry, just let me know. So it started off, even though it started off with the heist, it did kind of like slow down and drag on a bit before it kind of got heightened and really brought the excitement back to it. I thought, although I did like the fight scenes and I did like how they were written out, some of it was a little too much to visualize a 15 and a 17-year-old doing front flip, back flip, somersaults, triple axel or whatever to kick a security guard down. It was fun, but it was almost borderline unrealistic. So it's like, it's kind of like one of those love-hate relationship things. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, the social standing, I like how they touched on that, and then how Margot gives away her money to her housekeeper, for example. And the only thing that didn't make sense to me was there's several people in the book that, for example, Devon, if you just did the art heist and the split for everyone was $48,000, he shouldn't be living the way that he's living. And it didn't really touch on the previous jobs that they had done before, but I know they were making money from previous heists. How are you living in an apartment, in a dirty apartment with your drag mother who's stuck on drugs when you just got paid a $48,000 lump sum? And I feel like the rent out here is kind of expensive depending on where you go. But I think with the amount of money that they made, I feel like the author could have went a different way with it. That's just me personally. It's just making it seem like, oh, I can't pay this drug dealer $1,000 even though I just got paid 48 grand. It was just a little, again, unrealistic to me. Like, if you knew this guy was gonna, and has you guys gotten in a fight with the drug dealer dude before, why would you continue living there? Why wouldn't you just pay him the $1,000 when you just made $48,000? Like, I just don't understand. Also, I feel like with Axel and Joaquin, they're living in a 20-bedroom household. And how come they should have been offered Devon a place to sleep? Now, I understand it's a book, but I like to get really involved. It just doesn't make any sense to me why, if you know your friend is living that bad and that dirty and they're not doing that well, how can these multimillionaires, now, Axel and Joaquin aren't multimillionaires anymore, but Margot definitely is. How can you let your friends kind of suffer like that? So I didn't really like the way that was written, because I feel like if they were as close as they said they were, they would uplift each other and kind of help each other out, instead of like, okay, let me just drop you off at your shithole apartment. Like, I thought that wasn't cool. As far as money again goes, when they were describing Valentina's house, apparently Valentina lives in this castle that's like a fortress and hard to break into, and they of course got into it. But there was one small detail that really kind of like irked me, is that they said that Valentina had 80 fireplaces. Who in the world has 80 fireplaces? Like, I understand that there's mega mansions out there, but 80 fireplaces? 80. That was just a little too much for me, and I just, that kind of, it stuck out to me in the book because it just seemed way too unrealistic. And I even went on Zillow.com to see if I could find a house with 80 fireplaces, and I could not. So that was something I just couldn't relate to. Another thing I didn't like was the age difference between Joaquin and Leaf. It was borderline, I wasn't a fan of it, because Joaquin is 15 and Leaf is 17, and some of the sexual situations, I just didn't feel comfortable reading that with him being so young. Now, I understand that this does happen. However, this is a fiction book, and it's just, I mean, maybe because I'm 30, I don't know, and I'm not 15 anymore. It was just a little too uncomfortable for me to read. That's just me nitpicking. Also, in the description that I read, it said Margot is a socialite by day and a cat burglar by night, but I don't feel like they touched on her being a socialite as much. They did point out her nickname, Mad Margot, and did a couple of like excerpts on who she is, but I feel like they really could have pushed, or Caleb could really push the socialite boundary and kind of expanded that a little bit more. And I think the cat burglar and the heist and stuff would have been even more dynamic, because you are watching her being super famous in the daytime and paparazzi everywhere she goes, and then complete opposite change when she starts robbing people at night. I was watching somebody else's review, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, and she had mentioned if she is a blonde girl going out on these heists with these drag queens, why would she wear a blonde wig? I thought that was hilarious, because it's true. Why would you have the same hair color of what your disguise is supposed to be? And then also with the drag queens, they're doing drag performances at the special night for the drag night. Why are you dressing in drag in the same exact outfits that you're doing these heists in? Like, that's asking to be caught. So hopefully he touches on that a little bit more in the sequel, in the second book, which hopefully may come out next year. Which I am still excited to read. Like I said, it was a fun book. It was an enjoyable book. I was just nitpicking. There's some stuff that just wasn't realistic to me. Doesn't mean I hate it. Thought it was a super fun ride. I thought some of the scenes had my heart racing and I was on the edge of my seat, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta get through it. I gotta get through it, because it was just so good. And I like the way it ended as well. So Caleb, great book. Would love to read your other ones. I definitely want to read the sequel to Death Prefers Blondes. I thought it was great, like I said. And yeah, let me know what you thought about this pretty pink, purple, and blonde book. Let me know in the comments. Sound off. Let me know if you think I'm doing too much, if I'm nitpicking, if you agree with my thoughts. Thank you so much, and we will see what the next book is about. Thank you.